For anybody that grew up in Shaker Heights, the 1990 murder of Lisa Pruett was fascinating. It happened within about 100 yards of where about a decade earlier there was another Shaker Heights High School murder. Jerry Parche got shot and chopped up and burned up in the pillbox, the duck pond right across the street from where Lisa Pruett's body was found. Well, the Lisa Pruett murder is coming back to the public's attention via a new book by James Renner called Little Crazy Children. And it chronicles the event, the tragedy. And for those that don't know, Pruett was sneaking out of her parents' house for a midnight tryst with her boyfriend and ended up being stabbed to death in his backyard. And at first the boyfriend was the suspect, then another student, and that guy died a few years ago. And he was not convicted of the murder, so there's been no resolution to this case ever. So what you're going to see here are a bunch of news reports that are recorded as they happened. And by no means tells the whole story, but I guess the point of James' book is you can't tell this whole story. For sure.
Center 8 stunned classmates try to cope with the savage murder of a 16-year-old Shaker Heights High School girl.
A former member of
victim of an unspeakable tragedy. We'll have that story momentarily, but first, Shaker Heights High School has been shaken to its very foundation with the savage murder of honor student Lisa Pruett. The body of the popular student was found this morning in a yard next to the home of a friend. As News Center 8's Bill McKay reports, police are saying little about the murder.
Yes, the next-door neighbor is the friend that she went to visit.
According to the chief of police, the victim left her house after midnight this morning without her parents' knowledge and rode her bicycle to visit that friend. At 1:20 this morning, police discovered the body in this vacant lot next to her friend's on Lee Road.
Everyone at this particular moment is a suspect. We have interviewed the friend and other friends and family members.
The 16-year-old male friend who Lisa had gone to visit is a student at Shaker High School. According to police, his house was subject of a day-long search and investigation by police. There were bicycle skid marks on the sidewalk in front of the house, but police would say only that they have recovered the bicycle and would not comment further on the skid marks. The coroner's office reported that Lisa had been stabbed numerous times. Police would not say whether they had found a weapon.
Do you plan any charges in the immediate future?
We will provide charges once we feel we have gathered enough facts. They've been reviewed by the prosecutor. Then at that time, charges would be sought on the individual we deem to be the suspect in this particular case.
The chief would add that no one is under arrest at this time. Throughout the day, fellow students appeared at the scene where Lisa's body was found. They expressed their thoughts.
She's an honor student. She's involved in her school, in the marching band. She used to be in student council. I mean, this is not the type of person that this should happen to, such a violent murder. I used to think this was a really safe neighborhood and that I could, you know, that you could just roam out here whenever you want and you'd be okay, but I'm gonna change the way I think now. I no longer feel safe.
Why did Lisa leave her home after midnight this morning? Why did she want to visit a young friend at this address? And what led to her violent death? So far, no answers to those questions. I'm Bill McKay, News Center 8 Shaker Heights.
Meanwhile, counselors and school officials are helping Lisa's classmates and friends deal with this alarming tragedy. News Center 8's Mike DePasquale spent the afternoon at Shaker Heights High, where students had many questions but very few answers.
They were very upset, crying, being angry, punching. I mean, a couple of people I've seen punch lockers, you know, because of the anger they felt toward the person who did this.
Anger, frustration, and a helpless feeling is part of the emotional pain being felt by those who knew Lisa Pruett. Today, school officials and teachers work together with counselors to help Lisa's classmates and friends cope with this tragic reality.
A lot of them were telling us, you know, it's a tragedy, it's, you know, there's nothing we could do to stop it, and then, you know, that type of thing, but at least we can try to go on.
Experts say in a case where such an unthinkable act occurs, the healing process will take some time. For For many of these students, friends and family are vital in going on, but still dealing with what has happened.
It's helpful if the kids feel comfortable in talking one with one another, of course, but also parents of the kids can ask the kids what they're thinking. In other words, how do they feel about what happened, rather than jump in immediately and reassuring them.
Through the grieving process, the question of why was evident when students left school today. Why would someone want to end the life of such a popular girl who had such a promising life ahead? Questions that many kids today had no answers to.
It was really unfortunate what happened, but we have to be strong for her because she was so vibrant. That's what she would have wanted for us.
Mike DePasquale, News Center 8, Shaker Heights.
In other news tonight, a Cleveland suburb is in shock over the brutal murder of a teenage girl. 16-year-old Lisa Pruitt was found stabbed to death early this morning. Alan DePietro reports on the girl who was called a superstar in school and a friend to everybody.
Shaker Heights police are searching for the murder weapon used to kill 16-year-old Lisa Pruitt. They're searching on the grounds of the home where her boyfriend, 16-year-old Daniel Dreifert, lives on Lee Road near South Woodland. Police say sometime after last midnight, after her parents had fallen asleep, Lisa left her home and traveled the nearly mile and a half to Dreifert's home by her 10-speed bicycle. Police early this morning recovered the bike near where her body lay, her clothes disheveled. The coroner's office quickly put an end to the rumor Lisa might have been sexually molested.
According to preliminary findings of the coroner's office, he reported to us just recently there was no signs of sexual trauma to the victim at all.
Police have searched with dogs. They have searched with metal detectors for the instrument that left the young girl with multiple stab wounds to the head, neck, and body. Daniel Dreifert continues to be questioned by Shaker police, but TV5 has learned that Dreifert was not enrolled at Shaker High this semester, that for the past 5 weeks he's not lived at home, except for some weekends. Friends of Dreifert hint he may have been hospitalized for some reason. Listen closely to what the police chief says.
Remember, the incident happened early this morning. We're gathering facts now and trying to get various records, and some records are difficult to attain because of the nature of the records.
Friends of Lisa Pruitt said the dead girl and Dreifert had been steady friends since last spring, that last evening was not the first time she had gone to his home at night. Her friends at Shaker Heights High School described Lisa as being gentle, cheerful, brilliant. In a few short seconds, sometime after 1 this morning, all of that was ended. When the school superintendent described Lisa Pruitt as a superstar, you knew she had to have been someone special. A friend who knew her since second grade felt pretty much the same way.
But she's the kind of person that liked everybody, that was friends with everybody. She always had a smile and a cheery face for everyone.
In Shaker Heights tonight, 2 families shattered. Dozens of students will have this day burned in their memory banks forever. Alan DePietro, Eyewitness News.
The Shaker Heights High School band has canceled its halftime performance at Parma Senior High later tonight in memory of Pruitt, who was a member of the band.
The brutal murder of a 16-year-old girl. So far, police seem to be focusing their efforts on Lisa Pruitt's boyfriend. Channel 3's Tom Barris reports.
Lisa Pruitt was a straight-A student, a junior at Shaker Heights High School who hoped to go to Harvard or Yale. She played on the field hockey team and in the band, and her friends claim she spent yesterday rejoicing.
Yesterday, she was really happy, and it was just like one of the best days she had because her boyfriend came home and she had just gotten her driver's license. And so she was really happy yesterday.
But early this morning, police found Lisa Pruitt's body sprawled in a backyard at the corner of Woodland and Lee. She was stabbed repeatedly, head, body, arms, and legs. She was clothed. The coroner found no evidence of sexual assault. The spot's right next to her boyfriend's house, about a mile and a half from the Pruitt home and near Shaker Lakes. Police found her bike here and claim she snuck out to visit her friend without telling her parents. Lisa's parents thought she was safe, home in bed. They did not know she was missing until her boyfriend called them early this morning to ask if she was there. The boyfriend is 16-year-old Daniel Dreifert. In a news conference full of no comments about evidence, murder weapon, and suspects, his was the only name mentioned.
I will say that Mr. Dreifert is one of the people we were talking to, but numerous others. I can't really say that he is the number one suspect, or a suspect. He is a person we are talking to very strongly, and others.
At Shaker Heights High, dozens of psychologists, counselors, and clergymen helped grieving students cope.
It's really hard. People are really upset. People are crying in the halls, and the school is really quiet today. Everyone's very upset.
A stream of friends and family comforted Lisa's parents and younger brother. They've had nothing to say. On this grim day, a line in a published poem Lisa wrote stands out. I see the truth, cold bare trees, stripped of life and hard ground. Tom Barris, Channel 3 News.
Shaker Heights, Cleveland.
Developments in a case that has shocked the community of Shaker Heights.
Last Friday, the Shaker Heights police chief made the announcement. They had a suspect in the death of Lisa Pruitt.
We have now identified a suspect. We are not able to release the name of the suspect at this time. It is critical to the successful conclusion of this case that the suspect's identity be kept confidential.
Today, 4 days later, police still refuse to confirm the name of the suspect. But the I-Team has learned that in recent days, the focus of the Lisa Pruitt murder investigation has shifted to a former student here at Shaker Heights High. His name is Kevin Young, now enrolled at Ohio State, a musician, a horn player, who played alongside Lisa Pruitt in the Shaker High Band. According to sources, Shaker Heights police conducted a search on this home on Onaway Road September 16th, where Young lives with his family, a family that includes his father, attorney J. Talbot Young, a law partner of Shaker Mayor Stephen Alfred, at the firm of Squires, Sanders, and Dempsey. Confiscated in the search, according to one source, was a bloody tissue. The Shaker Law Department would not allow us to see the warrant.
And we're viewing that as a confidential police investigatory record. So we're not authorizing and we're not releasing that information.
This student says she was questioned by police about Kevin Young.
First of all, they asked me what I knew about the murder, and I just said, yeah, I knew about it and stuff. And the point was to talk about Kevin Young because they had heard a lot of things about Kevin Young.
And they brought his name up.
Mm-hmm.
Today, police were highly visible near the Young home, at one point even stopping by.
We just noticed that this house is getting special police attention in recent days. Can you tell us why?
No, I don't know anything about it.
You don't?
No. I want to ask the chief.
Both Chief Ugrenick and Mayor Alfred refused to comment on the case, but Mayor Alfred did say he was hopeful charges would be filed sometime soon. Carl Monday, News Center 8 I-Team.
Niles, Shaker Heights officials today confirmed the identity of the key suspect in the stabbing death of Lisa Pruitt. As the I-Team's Carl Monday reported exclusively yesterday, that suspect is Kevin Young, a former Shaker Heights High student and the son of a law partner of the Shaker Heights mayor.
Yesterday, we got our first look at Kevin Young, an intelligent, handsome graduate of Shaker Heights High, and a suspect in the September midnight murder of teenage Lisa Pruitt. At a news conference last Friday, Police Chief Walter Ugrenick confirmed a suspect was in hand, but refused to name names.
It is critical to the successful conclusion of this case that the suspect's identity be kept confidential.
Even as late as this morning, the chief and others close to the investigation wouldn't confirm or deny that Young was their man. But this afternoon, that all changed. In a prepared statement released by the city of Shaker Heights, we're told, quote, that since the name of the person who is the primary focus of our investigation has been released, we will confirm that Kevin Young is the suspect referred to last Friday by Chief Ugrenick. Young is currently hospitalized, but they won't say where. Police say they're not prepared to file charges against Young at this time. They'll hold off until they get lab results from the FBI in Washington. It's believed the tests are being conducted on evidence found during a search of the suspect's home September 16th. Among the items reportedly confiscated was a bloody tissue paper. As we reported yesterday, Kevin is the son of J. Talbot Young, the law partner of Shaker Heights Mayor Stephen Alfred. Students who knew Kevin called him a mischievous young man who once called in a bomb scare at a Shaker middle school.
He made people nervous just because of his mood swings.
Recently, another TV station in town had reported that Lisa Pruitt's boyfriend was a key suspect in her murder. In today's release, Shaker officials emphasized that the boyfriend is not a suspect and added that the use of his name and picture, quote, has caused the young man and his family severe emotional stress. Late this afternoon, the I-Team talked with the boyfriend. He refused an on-camera interview.
Of the key suspect in the stabbing death of Lisa Pruitt. As the I-Team's Carl Monday reported exclusively yesterday, that suspect is Kevin Young, a former Shaker High student and the son of a law partner of the Shaker Heights mayor.
Yesterday, we got our first look at Kevin Young, an intelligent, handsome graduate of Shaker Heights High, and a suspect in the September midnight murder of teenage Lisa Pruitt. Even as late as this morning, the chief and others close to the investigation wouldn't confirm or deny that Young was their man. But this afternoon, that all changed. In a prepared statement released by the city of Shaker Heights, we're told, quote, that since the name of the person who is the primary focus of our investigation has been released, we will confirm that Kevin Young is the suspect referred to last Friday by Chief Ugrenick. Young is currently hospitalized, but they won't say where. Police say they're not prepared to file charges against Young at this time. They'll hold off until they get lab results from the FBI. As we reported yesterday, Kevin is the son of J. Talbot Young, the law partner of Shaker Heights Mayor Stephen Alfred. Students who knew Kevin called him a mischievous young man who once called in a bomb scare at a Shaker middle school.
He made people nervous just because of his mood swings.
Recently, another TV station in town had reported that Lisa Pruett's boyfriend was a key suspect in her murder. In today's release, Shaker officials emphasized that the boyfriend is not a suspect and added that the use of his name and picture, quote, has caused the young man and his family severe emotional stress. Late this afternoon, the I-team talked with the boyfriend. He refused an on-camera interview, but he did say that he just wanted the whole thing to be over and whoever killed Lisa Pruett be caught. Carl Monday, News Center 8 I-team.
But in another local case, there are still no real answers. On September 14th, the body of 16-year-old Lisa Pruett, a student at Shaker Heights High School, was found stabbed to death. While police said they had a suspect just a few days after the murder, there's still been no arrest. Some charge that because the suspect's father is a law partner of the mayor's, the case has been delayed. Police Chief Walter Ugrenick says that is just not the case.
A homicide cases, a lot of times, either everything is plain and simple, or it's very technical and difficult. This is not one of those simple and easy cases. I don't feel anybody has botched anything. I don't feel anybody has done any errors in anything. And when this is over, I have no problem with anybody reviewing everything that we did. And I think they'll find out that it was done at the highest professional level it could be done. But I can't stop rumors, and I'm not about to try.
The 20-year-old suspect has refused to talk to police. Mayor Stephen Alfred is concerned because there are no restrictions.
The suspect is out on occasion, on weekend visitation and so forth. So he is out on occasion.
Shaker Heights authorities are also waiting for some evidence from the FBI crime lab. They say there's no impropriety in the way the case is being handled, and they're confident an arrest and a successful prosecution of Lisa Pruett's murder will happen, and will happen soon. Bob and Barbara?
Thanks, Marcia. Marcia Walton reporting live from the 10 o'clock newsroom.
And 16-year-old Lisa Pruett was found dead in Shaker Heights, and as of tonight, no arrests have been made. Shaker Heights police say that their hands are tied for a couple of reasons, really. First, lab tests on important evidence are still not back. And to make matters even worse, the city prosecutor on the case is not available following an operation. Now, the 19-year-old suspect in the case has been hospitalized and reportedly been out several times to visit with parents. Sure.
Good evening, everybody. The attorney for a prime suspect in the murder of Shaker Heights teen Lisa Pruett says police are suppressing a key piece of evidence.
And that key piece of evidence, the possible murder weapon. Channel 3's Paul Orlowski reports the lawyer's allegations come in reaction to police statements concerning delays in bringing charges in the case.
Attorney Mark Devan arrived back in Cleveland from a business trip just over an hour ago. He says the reason his client has not been charged is that police don't have the evidence to get an indictment.
They took his shoes to make comparisons, obviously with some sort of a shoe print they must have secured. They took blood samples. So there must be physical evidence. If it pointed to my client whatsoever, he would have been charged already.
Police say the illness of the chief prosecutor, delays in the return of evidence being tested at the FBI crime lab, and a lack of access to the suspect is delaying their case, a claim Devan refutes and goes even further with.
Well, up to this point, the Shaker Heights police have been representing that no murder weapon was found. In the course of investigating this case and talking with the coroner's office, it's my understanding that a knife was found in the vicinity and that the coroner's office cannot exclude that as the possible murder weapon.
Shaker officials were unavailable for a specific response to the weapon allegation. Earlier, they told Channel 3 News that all suspects except Devan's client have been eliminated. Police Chief Walter Ugrenick believes charges will be filed and that his men are on the right track.
I have no doubt in my mind as the police chief that we are in the right direction.
Meaning what?
Of the suspect that we have been focusing our investigation towards.
One would always like to be able to wrap up a crime within the standard 58 minutes that one sees it on TV. But real life doesn't always work that way.
Mayor Stephen Alford has become embroiled in the case because he has a professional relationship with the father of the suspect. He denies that relationship has hampered the investigation.
Well, the people that know me aren't going to think that. For the other people, I would simply say it's absurd.
Some Shaker residents remain worried because the suspect is allowed out of the hospital where he's been since last September for visits to home. But for now, the big news, the update, seems to be the allegations from the lawyer that a murder weapon exists. Jill?
Thanks for watching Cleveland Live Music. It's awfully bright out here. I'd click on another one of my videos. Quit looking into the sun. Your mother told you not to do that. Please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel more, there's GoFundMe and Patreon information in the video descriptions. Ooh, ooh!